Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Everybody out here think they got love all figured out. They think it's about tricks, about technique, about some kind of secret move they saw on TikTok. But I'm here to tell you, if you really want to drive a man crazy, it ain't about what you do, it's about how you make him feel. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about confidence. You can have all the looks, the money, the style, the fancy talk, but if you walk into a room and you ain't sure of yourself, everybody can feel it. Confidence is like a fragrance. You can't see it, but when somebody's wearing it right, it fills the whole room. It's not about arrogance. It's not about showing off. It's about knowing who you are, what you bring, and not apologizing for it. Now, people confuse confidence with perfection. They think, when I lose 20 pounds, I'll be confident, or when I get that car, that job, that man or woman, I'll feel better about myself. No. Confidence don't wait for circumstances to change. It shows up as you are. Confidence says, I might have everything I want yet, but I know I'm still worthy. It's not about being flawless, it's about being fearless enough to show your flaws. I've met folks who are beautiful, rich, successful, and still insecure. Then I've met people who ain't got much, but they walk like they own the world. You can't buy confidence. You can't download it, borrow it, or fake it for too long. Real confidence comes from knowing your value, not your price. See, your price can go up and down based on what the world thinks. But your value, that never changes. You were born valuable. You were born enough. And let me tell you something funny people can sense when you don't believe in yourself. If you go on a date or into a job interview nervous and second, guessing every word you say, the other person feels that energy. It's like trying to sell a car you don't believe runs. You keep saying, it's a good car. I promise, it just don't start right now. Nobody buying that. But if you show up like, yeah, it's got some miles, but this baby will take you anywhere you want to go, now that's confidence. Confidence is magnetic. It's what makes people turn their heads when you walk by, even if you ain't the best dressed or the best looking in the room. It's how you carry yourself. It's how you talk to people. It's in your smile, your posture, your tone. It's in the way you say, good morning, like you mean it. You ever see somebody walk in a room and everybody looks up? That's not because of their outfit. It's their energy. Now, let's talk about relationships for a second, because confidence plays a big role there too. Some folks think they gotta act perfect to keep somebody's interest. Always agreeing, never speaking up, hiding their true self just to be liked. But that's a trap. You can't build real love on pretending. Confidence says, I'm gonna be myself. The right one will love me for it. The wrong person will always make you feel like too much or not enough. The right person will make you feel like you're just right. And ladies, listen. Confidence is the most attractive thing you can wear. I've seen women spend hours putting on makeup, worrying about every little detail. But what really turns heads is that glow that says, I'm good with me. When a woman walks in with her head high, smiling like she knows her worth, people notice. Men can't explain it, but they feel it. It's not what she's wearing, it's what she's radiating. Fellas, it goes for you too. You can't expect someone to respect you if you don't respect yourself. Stand tall, handle your business, take pride in what you do, even if you're not where you want to be yet. A confident man don't need to brag. His presence speaks for him. When you know who you are, you don't have to convince nobody. You don't chase validation because you're too busy living in your purpose. Let me tell you where real confidence comes from. It's built through struggle. Every time you fail and get back up, your confidence grows. Every time you keep going when you could have quit, you build another layer. Confidence is earned through endurance. That's why some of the most confident people ain't the ones who had it easy. They're the ones who had to fight for everything they got. They learned to trust themselves because life made them prove it. But don't get it twisted. Confidence doesn't mean you never doubt yourself. It means you keep going even when you do. Everybody gets nervous. Everybody questions themselves sometimes. The difference between confident people and insecure people is that the confident ones push through the fear anyway. They don't let it stop them. They say, yeah, I'm scared, but I'm still showing up. And that right there, that's power. When you walk in confidence, people treat you differently. Opportunities open up, not because life gets easier, but because your energy changes. You stop waiting for permission. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You start moving like you belong. Because you do. That's when the magic happens. That's when doors that used to be locked suddenly open. The world responds to how you see yourself. Let me give you an example. If you walk like a king or queen, people start treating you like one. You ever notice how when you go to a fancy hotel, the staff greets you with respect? Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. But if you walk in looking unsure, mumbling, eyes on the floor, they don't take you seriously. Same world, same people, different energy. You teach people how to treat you by how you carry yourself. Confidence also means not comparing your journey to somebody else's. Social media got everybody thinking they're behind in life. You scrolling, seeing folks getting married, buying houses, traveling, and you sitting there thinking you messed up. But let me tell you something. Your timing is your timing. Don't let somebody else's highlight reel make you doubt your own story. Confidence says, my time coming. I'm just getting ready for it. And one last thing, confidence don't mean loud. Some of the most powerful people I ever met were quiet, but their spirit spoke volumes. Confidence can be calm. It can be humble. It's not about proving, it's about being. It's about walking into every situation knowing that no matter what happens, you'll handle it. Because you've handled everything else that came your way before. So, every day you wake up, remind yourself who you are. You've survived things that were meant to break you. You've overcome situations that others couldn't even imagine. You've got scars, but you're still standing. That's confidence. Not the absence of struggle, but the strength to keep shining through it. Walk like you know your worth. Speak like your words matter. Love yourself like you're already enough, because you are. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something about communication. Everybody wants love, everybody wants passion, but half the folks out here don't want to talk. They want romance without real conversation. Connection without communication, understanding without effort. But let me tell you, you can't build anything lasting on silence. You want a relationship that lasts. You better learn to talk. And not just talk, but listen. Because communication, that's the real foreplay. That's where the magic starts. See, folks think intimacy starts in the bedroom. Nah. It starts in the little things. The way you greet each other in the morning, the way you say, good night, the way you listen when they talk about their day. You can't skip over that, and expect fireworks later. The connection happens long before the touch. It happens in the talk. It's how you make each other feel safe enough to be honest. That's where trust grows, and trust is what makes love real. Now, I know communication ain't always easy. Some of y'all are professionals at misunderstanding each other. You say one thing, they hear another, and by the time you're done, you're both mad and don't even know why. But that's because most people listen to reply, not to understand. When somebody's talking, you're already loading up your next comeback instead of trying to hear what they're really saying. Real communication means putting your pride aside and saying, let me try to understand you before I defend me. And let's be honest, we all come from different worlds. We were raised differently. We show love differently. Some people talk it, some people show it, some people buy it, some people cook it. You got to learn your partner's language, because if they speak affection and you speak silence, y'all gone keep missing each other. You might think you're showing love, but they ain't feeling it. And that's how good people drift apart. Not because the love ain't there, but because the connection got lost in translation. Communication is also about honesty. Not the mean kind, but the real kind. You ever notice how folks say, I'm just being honest, right before they hurt somebody's feelings? That ain't honesty, that's ego with a microphone. Real honesty don't destroy, it builds. It says, I love you enough to tell you the truth, but I care enough to say it gently. That kind of honesty deepens love. It creates space for growth. It lets your partner know, I see you, flaws and all, and I'm still here. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something powerful. When you really care about somebody, you gotta learn to read their energy. I ain't talking about being a mind reader or a magician. I'm talking about paying attention to the tone, the body language, the silence, the shift. Because people don't always tell you what's wrong with words. Sometimes their spirit speaks louder than their mouth ever could. When you can pick up on that without them having to say it, that's love. That's understanding. That's emotional intelligence. See, people get so caught up in what's said that they miss what's felt. You can have a whole conversation with somebody without either of you saying a word. It's in the way they sigh when they sit down, the way they stare off while pretending to listen, the way they move slower than usual. That's energy talking. And if you're too busy swirling your phone or planning your next sentence, you'll miss what their heart is trying to tell you. Rating energy means learning to be still enough to notice what's happening around you. Most folks don't pay attention because they're too focused on themselves. They walk into a room and the first thing they think is, who's looking at me? When they should be asking, who needs me? Energy is a two-way street. When you know someone vibe, you can sense when something's off, even if they smiling through it. And the moment you say, hey, you good? You seem a little quiet today. That's when you show them you care. That's how connections get deeper. Not through grand gestures, but through genuine awareness. Now, I'll be honest, reading energy ain't something you learn overnight. It comes from experience, from listening, from paying attention to the small details. When you really love someone, you start noticing their patterns. You know how they laugh when they're happy and how they fake it when they're not. You know when their silence means peace and when it means pain. You can tell by their eyes if they had a good day or if something weighing on them. That kind of awareness don't come from talking. It comes from caring. And I'll tell you something else. Energy don't lie. Words do. People can tell you they're fine while everything about them says otherwise. They can say, I love you, but their energy feels cold. They can say, I'm not mad, but the air around them is heavy. That's why you got to trust energy over excuses. Energy exposes what lips try to hide. When you start paying attention to that, you'll stop arguing over words that don't match the vibe. You'll start dealing with what's real. Now let's talk about this in relationships. Some couples argue not because of what was said, but because of the energy behind it. You can say good morning in two different tones. One that means, I'm glad to see you, and one that means, don't talk to me. The words are the same, but the energy tells the truth. You got to listen to the feeling behind the sentence. That's how you keep peace. That's how you avoid letting small misunderstandings turn into big problems. When you read your partner's energy, you also learn timing. Sometimes the best thing you can say is nothing. You got to know when to talk and when to just sit beside them. If they had a rough day, don't hit them with 20 questions or jokes right away. Let their spirit breathe. Sometimes love is just quiet presence, letting them know you're there without forcing them to perform happiness. The ones who really get it, then it's not yet love, ain't just spoken, it's felt. I've seen folks destroy good relationships because they never learned to read energy. They only listened with their ears, not with their heart. You can't always wait for someone to tell you what they need. Sometimes you got to feel it. You got to look at your partner and say, you look tired, let me handle dinner tonight, or you seem distant, what's bothering you? That's not weakness, that's emotional strength, that's maturity. That's how grown people love. And let's keep it real, your energy matters too. The vibe you bring into a space sets the tone for the whole room. If you walk in heavy, angry, or cold, that transfers. Your energy affects your partner's energy. You can't expect peace when you're carrying chaos. You can't expect warmth when you're giving ice. That's why self-awareness is just as important as awareness of others. Before you ask, what's wrong with them? Sometimes you got to ask, what energy am I bringing? You ever been around somebody who just drains you? Like you can't explain it, but after being with them, you feel exhausted. That's energy too. Protecting your peace means paying attention to who fills you and who empties you. Love should recharge you, not deplete you. Real connection doesn't take all your energy. It balances it. When two people are aligned, their energy flows like music. It feels easy, not forced. You don't have to beg for attention. It's naturally given. You don't have to chase love. It meets you halfway. And let me tell you, sometimes reading energy means noticing when you've changed. You ever wake up and realize you don't feel the same spark you used to? That's not always the end. Sometimes it's just a signal. It's your spirit saying, we need to reconnect. That's when communication comes in. Talk about it. Be honest about what's shifted. Energy drifts when attention fades. You keep it alive by checking in, not just with your partner, but with yourself. There's a lot of talk out here about chemistry. People say, oh, we just clicked, or the vibe was off. What they're really talking about is energy. Chemistry is nothing but two people's energy blending naturally. It's that invisible thing you can't describe, but you can feel. It's the reason some people make you calm and others make you tense. That's why it's so important to guard your space. Don't let just anybody around you, because everybody ain't bringing good energy. Some folks walk in carrying storms. Learn to recognize that and protect your peace. Reading energy also means giving grace. Sometimes it's not yet you love is just going through something that ain't even about you. Don't take everything personal. If they're quiet, it doesn't always mean they're angry. Maybe they're tired, overwhelmed, or processing something. Love requires patience. The ability to see someone's pain without making it about you. That's real emotional maturity. That's how relationships last. And when you can feel your partner's energy shift, before your partner's energy shift, before they even say a word, that's when you know you've built something real. That's when the bond goes deeper than surface level romance. Because it's one thing to love someone's smile, but it's another thing to notice when that smile hides sadness. This world thing to enjoy their laugh, but another to recognize when that laugh is forced. When you love someone's energy, not just their image, that's when love becomes sacred. So pay attention, not just with your eyes or your ears, but with your heart. Energy never lies. You just have to care enough to listen to what's unspoken. Because the real art of love ain't about what you say. It's about what you feel and what you choose to understand, even when no words are spoken. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight from the heart. Appreciation and respect build passion. You can talk about love all you want. You can post cute pictures, write long captions, and call each other baby till the cows come home. But if there's no appreciation and no respect, that relationship won't last. Because passion don't live where people feel unvalued. The moment you stop appreciating your partner, the connection starts fading. The spark doesn't disappear overnight. It fades little by little every time someone feels taken for granted. See, love ain't about big gestures all the time. It's about noticing the small things. The things people do when nobody's watching. When she cooks your favorite meal, when he fixes something around the house, when they stay up late just to make sure you're okay. That's love in action. Appreciation is saying, I see you, I notice your effort, and I'm thankful. It's the fuel that keeps love warm. People don't ask for perfection, they just want to feel seen. You want to build passion. Start by saying, thank you, like you mean it. Gratitude turns ordinary moments into blessings. Now, I know life gets busy. Work, bills, kids, stress. It's easy to forget the little stuff. But that's when appreciation matters most. It's easy to be grateful when everything's good. The real test is when you're tired, frustrated, or mad. You still got to find something to thank your partner for, even in those moments. Because the second you stop appreciating what you have, you start seeing what you lack. And when your focus shifts to what's missing instead of what's present, love starts slipping through your fingers. Respect. Now that's a big one. Respect is the foundation of every strong relationship. Without it, love has no legs to stand on. Respect means you don't talk to each other any kind of way, no matter how angry you get. You don't embarrass each other in public. You don't dismiss each other's feelings or make jokes at their expense. You protect each other's dignity, even in disagreement. You don't have to always agree, but you do have to always respect. That's grown folks' love right there. You can't build passion in a place where people feel small. Nobody wants to open their heart to someone who makes them feel unseen or unworthy. Passion dies in an environment of disrespect. It thrives in admiration. You ever seen together for 20 or 30 years, and they still light up when they look at each other. That ain't luck. That's daily respect. They learn how to honor each other even through arguments, mistakes, and rough seasons. Respect keeps the fire steady when emotions fade for a minute. And let's be real. Everybody likes to be appreciated. It don't matter if it's a man or a woman. Men might not always say it, but they love hearing, "I'm proud of you." Women might not always admit it, but they melt when they hear, "I appreciate you." Appreciation is emotional oxygen. Without it, the relationship suffocates. You can't expect passion to stay alive if the other person feels invisible. People remember how you make them feel far longer than anything you say. Appreciation also means respecting effort, not just results. Maybe your partner's chore